So here is a really awesome how-to on the rear subframe bushings. Have never done this before, so this is a type of an exploration for me. So in a nutshell, you have to get to the bushings. So if you're trying to do this with the subframe still under the car, so you will have to lower the subframe to a point where you can slide whatever tools you're using. I'm sure I know of the proper tool that is supposed to be used for this job. I'm using something that I had in this bag, and this is, I don't even know, I think this is meant to be used for E46 rear trailing arms bushing, something like that. But this seems to be a really nice tool that can also be used, I hope, to remove these bushings. So I figured there's this one that fits here kind of okay, and there is this thing that is actually going to fit against the bottom of the subframe, and this nut goes on the top. So, and then I'm going to fit this through that. So I'm going to slide this like that. The only concern that I have is that this rubber may start getting pushed sideways. So these things should fit like so. I hope something like that. That's 24, that's 24. Yeah, like I said, this rubber, I guess I can probably cut it, but in general, that's the idea. So just keep going until, I guess, the bushing, until the bushing is out. And since this is rubber, it's not really pressed in much, in the sense that it doesn't have much of a grip, so it's coming out right there already. Not much of a effort really. Just keep going until there isn't much resistance really. Yeah. And people say pressing in solid bushings is a big deal. So that yay, there it is. So that's the tool, that's the bushing. This wasn't that hard actually. I'm surprised. I guess, like I said, pressing in new bushings is a challenge, people say. I almost dropped the camera. So yeah, this bushing is out. At least the removal part was not a big deal really. So it's not that big of a deal since I have a good access to them, so I'm not restricted by the chassis or the body of the car. So you can put whatever I feel like on the top of this, and this is just a rubber bushing, so it's basically just, it's rubber outside, so it doesn't have much of a grip really. And these are really nice and clean surfaces actually. Well, let's figure out the front bushing. I could use the same tool. It seems like diameter wise it fits. It's really close. I have to really double check that. I really have to check that. Maybe this one is a better fit. Maybe it is. This one makes a little bit more sense since this bottoms out against the core, but then it also starts to push against rubber. Well, I had to cut. I started cutting the rubber because it kind of spreads outward, and it kind of, well, gets kind of jammed and gets sheared off by the cup anyway. I'm going to try use this one and then see if it goes. If it starts to lock up, I'll probably switch to a smaller. That's the proper shape, but these steps on the sides are not as big as I would like them to be, because I really want to be pushing against whatever the outside is, because pushing against the core is not much of a sense, because I mean it's barely attached. To demonstrate how flexy everything here is, that's well, it's not as much, I guess, sideways. It's forward, back, and forward, backward, forward, and up and down too. I'm using the same fixture. These fingers, or whatever they are actually going to sit against the ring of the subframe. Then, well, I kind of started to cut this rubber because it was kind of making no sense, because it just gets in the way. So I suppose this goes here, this goes here, this drops in like so. Well, actually I need to space this up a little bit. So this goes in like so. Install this like so. Just start turning this. It's a ratchet, I don't have to make circles. Well, it's going. Why wouldn't it be going? It's rubber. It's not really rusting in. Oh boy. Oof. Something popped. Comes off, this comes off. We just went up with the jack, but I didn't. So this is the front bushing. Yep, it's pretty much empty. There's the core made out of aluminum alloy. There's this metal rubberized shell. So here it is, two of them. Well, there it is. Got them out. And I guess that's how you remove your rear subframe bushings. So that's a nice tool actually. So all you need is this kind of a tool with a threaded rod and a cup on this end. Of course, a nut with a bearing in it. So that's basically the tool to remove these bushings. I'm not sure if this height is, if you can use this tool with the subframe still being in the car and just lowered slightly. So probably this is a little bit too tall. So anything that is shorter would be needed. But that's the general idea. And these came out fairly easy, without much struggle, really. While I'm waiting, well, I figured a few things that I need to buy that I didn't realize that I had to. So while that's kind of waiting on parts, I'm moving on with other things that I kind of plan to do. And the next thing, hopefully, is replacing the subframe mounting bushings. Those are pain. Well, people do replace them without really removing the subframe. Like, you lower it far enough, I guess, like so, you can work with them. Like, I guess if you have a tool and such, which I don't, I think. So I need to figure out how to do that. So in any case, I'm going to lower the subframe as far, I guess, as far as it goes. And or maybe even get it out of the car. I kind of disconnected the remove the brakes for some reason. And this is the bolt number 4. Have 4 of these bolts, really large bolts that hold the subframe in place. And nothing really is holding it up to the car. The thing is basically ready to be pulled out of the car. That's just going down like this. My stupid, these things that really didn't do much. What a waste of an effort and money. Yep. What I'm not sure of is if I can actually get these out and press the replacements in without really getting this into a press, hydraulic press. I guess at least I have a really not a bad access to the brake hoses over there that I can now really do something about. And this is how you do it. This whole thing just rolled out. Yep, wasn't that big of a deal, really. That's what happens. Ah, stupid me. I knew this would happen. Cut myself.